Hello friends, today we are diving into one of the most important RHCSA exam topics, basic networking in RHCA. By the end of this video, you will understand how to configure IPv4, IPv6 address, manage hostname resolution, enable networking service at boot, and secure your server using firewalld. I will explain you everything visually, step by step, and show you the exact command you need for the exam. So let's move the section 1. Manage basic networking. So what does networking mean in the Linux? Networking in the RHA, it's managed the Premier Linux Network Manager. It is a service. nmcli, it is a command line tool, and nmcli, it is a text-based. /etc slash network manager slash system connection. It is a configuration file. So now I open my terminal. In the Red Hat Linux Enterprise, networking is controlled by the network manager. Think of network manager as a brain that keeps your network connection alive. And the tool we use to talk to this brain is nmcli, the network management command line interface. So nmcli device status. This command, it shows all network device and their state. It is connected, disconnected, or unavailable. If we want nmcli connection. So here we get the name, UID, type, and device. So this lists all saved network profile. In RHCSA, you will modify this profile to configure networking. Let's move to the session 2. Configure IPv4 and IPv6 address. So here IPv4.method, it is manual static configuration. IPv4.address, here we get IP plus subnets. And IPv4 gateway, it is a default route. And IPv4.DNS, it is for the DNS server. Now I open my terminal. Okay. Let's configure a static IPv4 address. In the exam, this is one of the most common tasks. So, nmcli connection modify enp03s IPv4 dot address 192.168.0.189. See? So using this command, we set the IP address, IPv4 address. If we want to set the gateway, we will use nmcli connection modify IPv4 dot gateway 192.168.0.1. Enter. Now, if I have to set my DNS, I can use nmcli connection modify IPv4 dot DNS 8.8.8.8. Enter. Now, if I have to set my method, I can use nmcli connection modify IPv4 dot method manual. Enter. Now I have to set my connection option. I can use nmcli connection. Oh, enter. So you can see here connection successfully activated. So here in this command line we can see how to change the IP address, gateway, DNS and how to change the manually. So we are going to fill each of these using the nmcli. Slash 24, it is a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. Setting the method of the manual telling network manager that is the static configuration. And after setting everything, we can activate the new setting using the connection of. Now we are configure the IPv4 address. So imagine a long IPv4 address falling across the screen. IPv4 looks complex, but configuration it is simple. nmcli connection modify IPv6 dot address. I first take my IPv6 IP-A. So here the IPv6 is in that point. Just copy this. Okay. So now my connection is successful. If I have to say the gateway, then I can simply use nmcli connection modify IPv6 dot address. Gateway. Here we can change the gateway. Now we have to change the method and set the method. And we can simply use nmcli connection modify stop IPv6 dot method menu enter. Now we have to up our connection. Then we can use nmcli connection of system. Okay. So connection successfully activated. So long IPv6 address story routed code block. So here horizontal scroll for the IPv6 address. So now we see what is IPv6. IPv6 use 128-bit address and A 64 is the standard subnet size. 64 is the standard subnet size. It identifies the network and the last 64 bit identify the interface. This slash 64 boundary is fundamental to how IPv6 works, including auto configuration, routing, and address line. An IPv6 address is 128 bit, written in 16-bit hexadecimal, 16-bit hexadecimal groups separated by colon. Zero compression. Zero compression can shorten zero group, but only once per address. So let's see what is the prefix lane. IPv6 use CIDR notation like IPv4 slash 664 slash 48 and slash 56. The prefix lane tell you how many bits are network bits. What is slash 64 subnet means? A slash 64 is a standard IPv6 subnet size because the interface ID host portion is always 64 bit. First 64 bit is a network prefix and last 64 bit is a network ID. So now we will see what verify the IP or how to verify the networking. So let's see. I clear my screen. So to verify the networking, we can use IPA. So using this command, it shows the interface status and assign IP as well as link status. If we have to check routing table, then we can use IPR. Display default gateway and routing path. If we have to check the connection profile, then we can use nmcli connection show interface. Enter. So using this command, we can verify the network manager connection detail for the interface. Here we see IPv4 method manual, IPv4 DNS 8888. So everything will change, it will be set here. The recent IPv4 address, IPv4 gateway here. So let's move. Explain that IPv4 IPA is the fastest way to check if the interface is a and has an IP. IPR it ensures the default gateway to set critical for external connectivity. And nmcli connection show interface is useful for Linux system using Network Manager. So now we can move to the next session. In the third session, we will learn configure the hostname resolution. What is hostname resolution? Hostname resolution it is a mechanism that translates a hostname to IP address so device can communicate on network. Human uses name, computer use IP address. Same like suppose if I have to ping the server 1, it has its own IP address. So hostname resolution has two methods. First one is /etc/host. It is a local file that provides static hostname to IP mapping. It's checked before DNS. So it can override network-based resolution. On the other side, DNS is a global naming system. It is used across the network and the internet. DNS is scalable, centralized, and ideal for large environment. Linux follow lookup order defined in NS switch configuration. Usually, files DNS, meaning it check the slash etc slash host first, then DNS. Let's move to the terminal. I clear my screen. So, first we check the hostname CTL. CTL. Here we get the whole information about our system like static hostname, icon, classic, machine ID, boot ID, virtualization, operating system, OS name, kernel, and architecture. Hostname serial it is a modern command for setting the system hostname. It updates the hostname persistently across reboot and integrate with systemd. After running this command, the system identifies itself as new hostname, which is important for SSH log and DNS registration. So let's see how to change hostname. Hostname CTF set hostname server 1. Enter. So this change affect how to machine present itself on the network. Now we can check the hostname that we set recently. So here static hostname name is changed. First it is Oracle Linux. Now it's server 1. So this entry create the local override for hostname resolution. Whenever the system tries to resolve the server 1 or Oracle Linux, it will return to this IP address. So this is useful for testing small network or when DNS is unavailable because slash etc slash host it check first. It always take priority over DNS unless the lookup order is changed. So now we will see DNS resolution. nmcli connection modify DNS. Now we set the connection of using nmcli connection of. So connection successfully activated. DNS resolution is used for the external DNS server that translates domain name into IP address. Here we configure the network interface to use Google DNS and Cloudflare DNS. After modifying the connection, we bring it up so the DNS setting take effect using this command. The DNS server responds with the correct IP address, allowing the system to connect to website server and service across the network. Session. We will learn configure the network service to boot automatically at boot. So, start automatically at boot means what? When Linux boot, system decides which service should start automatically. If the service is enabled, systemd create a symbolic link in the appropriate dot directory. So the service start during the boot. For example, like SSHD, it is for the SSH server. HTTPD, it is for the Apache web server. firewalld, network manager, and cronally. Those are the examples of services. Now I open my terminal. Clear my screen. Okay. So now we will see how to enable the service, how to check the status of the service, how to disable the service. Let's start. System CTL enable network manager, enable SSHD. So now the SSHD service is enabled. If we have to start the SSHD service, then we can use systemctl start SSHD. If we have to check the status of this service, then we can use check. So now it's active and running. Here we are focusing on how to make service persistent across reboot, which is core RHCSA skill. Linux uses systemd to manage services. When we are running systemctl enable and service, systemd create a symbolic link inside appropriate target directory. Usually it is in the // etc systemd system. So usually the service is created in this directory. Symbolic link is created in this directory. To start the service automatically every time the system boots means we use systemctl enable service name or systemctl enable network manager. Network manager, when we enable it, it starts as boot. So the system always has network available. When we use systemctl enable SSHD, make sure the SSH service start automatically, which is critical for remote administrator. But enabling alone doesn't start the service immediately. So we have to start the service using systemctl start SSHD. So enable it is used for the persistent across reboot and start it is used for the immediate activation. Both are essential for RHCSA tasks involving the service manager. So I am giving you some exam tips. Enable is equal to persistent. If you reboot and the service doesn't come back, you forget to enable it. If we start, then it will be start immediately. If we enable but don't start, the service won't run until the next reboot. So, if the service is not run, we check the systemctl status and service name like that. So now it's active and running. If I stop the service, just clear my screen. Okay. If I stop my service, systemctl stop SSHD. Now I check the status of the service. It is inactive or dead. So make sure to check the command it is active, enable or disable. Now if I have to start it, then I simply use systemctl start SSHD. Check my status. You can see it is active and running. To restart the service, I can use systemctl restart SSHD. The system is restart. If I have to reload the configuration without restarting, then I can use systemctl reload SSHD. So reload the configuration using these commands. So today we learn in this session how to enable the service at boot, how to start the service now, check the enable using the status or enable service it start automatically after reboot. So in the next session We will see how to restrict the network access using firewall-d and firewalls-cmd. Firewall-d acts as a system security gatekeeper. It decides which network traffic is allowed in and which is blocked. Each service like SSH, HTTP, HTTPS, it is represented as a gate. If the gate is often traffic flow, then firewall-d block it and close the gate. Firewall-d use zones to define the trust level and apply the rule dynamically without restart the firewall service. So I open my terminal. Allow the service, we can use firewall -cmd add service for HTTP and I want to add SSHD for one enter. So now firewall D is not running. I reload the firewall D, firewall -cmd hyphen reload. Enter. Now I'll check the status of firewall D. System CPL status firewall D service enter. It is loaded. So I have to start my firewall D first. So system CTL start. Okay, now I check the status again. Now it's active and running. I run my first command here. It is enabled, already enabled. You can see here. If I have to reload it, then I can also use firewall CMD. So now it's reload successfully. You can see here. So now SSH gate is open. Permanent required reboot. आता ही suppose if we want to permanent to this service, we have to reload the service first. So here to allow a service through the firewall, we add it to the active zone. Here we are allowing SSHD service which open the port automatically and hyphen permanent it is flag right rule to this but permanent rule doesn't take effect until we reload the firewall. That's what firewall -cmd reload is required. So this is a common RHCSA task. Add a service, make it permanent and reload. So make sure to understand each and every command. It is very essential for the RHCSA exam. Now, if we have to allow the port, then we can use firewall -cmd add port 22 TCP permanent. Enter. Now it successfully executed. After this command, we have to reload the firewall again. Firewall -cmd reload. Enter. It's reload successfully. Note all applications use predefined service. Custom apps often run on non-standard port like 8004 TCP. In that case, we are open the port directly using add port equal to 22. And again, permanent. It is for save it and reload to activate it. This is essential for RCSA tasks involving web server, proxy server, or custom application. Now, if we have to block the IP, then we can use firewall -cmd and reach rule. Mhm. Suppose I want to block particular IP address like source addresses equal to 92. 168.0.149. I have to block this source IP. Reject. So let's see. Enter. Now it's successfully command run successfully. Now we can reload the firewall again for the permanent changes. -cmd reload. So here rule provide the fine grained control beyond simple service and port. We are blocking the specific IP address. This action reject send an error response back to the client until drop, which silently ignore traffic. So here reach role is powerful because they let you specify the source IP, destination IP, port, protocol, login, and action like accept, reject, and drop. This is also a common RSA exam scenario. Block a specific IP using firewall D reach rule. So now if we have to allow one IP address, then what we can do? I just clear my screen. We recently blocked this, reject this IP address. Now, if we have to allow this IP address again, then I can use firewall -cmd add reach rule family equal to IPv4 or source address equal to 168.0.149. So now, if we have to accept this IP address, then we can use accept and hyphen hyphen permanent end. So this command is run successfully. Now we have to reload the firewall services using firewall hyphen cmd hyphen hyphen reload. So this rule allows one trusted IP address to access the service. Here 192.168.0.149. It is explicitly allowed. In combination with other rules, this can be created whitelist approach like trusted IP allowed. Everyone else block or drop. This is useful for admin only access, maintenance network, secure SSH access, internal monitoring system. Now it's time for the exam tips. So find the issue and how to fix it. Suppose rule is not applied, then missing hyphen hyphen permanent. Add hyphen permanent and after that reload the service. Service is still blocked, then we are in the wrong zone. To check the zone using hyphen hyphen get hyphen active hyphen zone. If the port is not opening, check the AC Linux loggings using AC manage port -L. If interface is not assigned, then you are in the wrong zone mapping. Add the interface to zone. Everything, each and every topic is covered in this video. So make sure to go through all this all video, and if you have any problem, then make sure to contact me through comment and I will definitely help you. So, nmcli, it is for networking. The exam expect you to configure the IP address, DNS and connection using Network Manager command line tool, not NMTUI. Always use nmcli. NMTUI is not editing configuration file manually. Next, remember, permanent firewall rule required a reload. If you forget to reload, the rule won't apply and your service may still be blocked. And /etc/host always override the DNS. This is important when testing host name resolution when DNS isn't available. For IPv6, the exam almost always use a /64 prefix. So be comfortable assigning IPv6 address with a subname. Finally, enable the service ensure they persist after reboot. If a service must be available every time the system starts like SSH or Network Manager, you must enable it, not just start it. Thanks for watching. If you have followed along with all the command and concept with the networking module, you are already ahead for the RHCSA exam. Practice these tasks in your lab. Repeat them until you feel natural and you will be a confident on exam day. If you enjoy this lesson, don't forget to like the video, subscribe and check out the next RHCSA topic in the playlist. Thank you so much.